Hi everybody, I'm just going to go live on Facebook. Okay, yes, we're live on Instagram and Facebook, so I'm live in my Facebook group. So, good afternoon, I hope you are all well. And today, actually whilst I wait for Facebook to let people know and Instagram to let people know that I am live and let a few people jump on, I just wanted to let you know that my next webinar, which is my top 3 methods for losing belly fat and increasing energy without having to give up everything that you love, takes place on Wednesday the 27th of July at 7:30 p.m. I will share the link to register early next week, so look out for that. Okay, so let's get started. Today I'm talking about the impact of stress on weight gain, because I don't think people, women, because that's who this is for, in their 40s and beyond, especially when they're going through perimenopause and into menopause, really understand the connection between weight and stress. And when I'm talking about stress, I'm talking about one particular hormone in particular, which is cortisol. So this week I have talked quite a lot about hormones and their effect on our waistlines, and stress is no different. You see, the way stress is released in our body is also via hormones. Think about when you have a fright, for example. Say you're driving along and a cat runs in front of the car and you slam on your brakes and you narrowly miss it. What happens? Your heart starts pounding, your pupils dilate, you get a rush of blood to your muscles so you can actually slam the brakes on. And you get that feeling we call an adrenaline rush. And this is because both adrenaline hormones and cortisol are released by the adrenal glands, which triggers all of this fight or flight response. Now, adrenaline increases your heart rate and elevates your blood pressure and boosts energy supplies. Cortisol, on the other hand, increases glucose in the bloodstream and enhances your brain's use of that glucose and increases the availability of other substances to basically repair tissues. Now, adrenaline will be fairly short-lived, but cortisol is the hormone that lasts longer and has a much longer lasting effect. But cortisol has many more functions in the body as well. It helps, as I said, to control blood sugar levels, and you know I talk about blood sugar an awful lot because of its impact on our body fat, weight gain, especially around the middle. But also cortisol regulates helps to regulate metabolism. It has an impact on inflammation, and it assists with memory formulation, amongst many other things. It's a very, very important hormone. And cortisol is what I like to call the Goldilocks hormone, because you do need it in the right quantities. It's really, really important. Too little and you are going to feel absolutely rubbish. You won't be able to get out of bed in the morning. Any effort will seem absolutely huge, and too much and you get some of the side effects such as weight gain, especially around your middle, that tire around the middle, slower metabolism. It affects your progesterone levels, which in turn leads to issues with your cycle and symptoms related to that with perimenopause. So it's a very, very important hormone. Now, here's the thing. As we age, we become less tolerant to cortisol. So you may be thinking, well, I'm no more stressed than I was 10 years ago, my belly fat can't be stress related. Well, yes, it absolutely can. And what's more, it can also affect your leptin levels, another hormone which regulates how full you feel. So As I mentioned before, cortisol directly impacts blood sugar as well. And when your cortisol levels are constantly raised, this glucose in the blood, and thus the amount of insulin we're producing, which leads to insulin resistance when there's too much on an ongoing basis, then leads to, you guessed it, more belly fat. So you've got this interplay between stress, cortisol, insulin, blood sugar, and your sex hormones as well. So it's really, really important to get your cortisol levels right. It also affects our sleep. It affects our anxiety levels. It pushes up sugar cravings, which then of course has the impact with insulin and blood glucose. It's one hell of a vicious circle. And the thing is, chronic stress, even low grade, and therefore raised cortisol, doesn't just come from emotional stress. So you might think that cortisol is just for when you're feeling mentally stressed or emotionally stressed. No, that's not right. It actually comes from things like the food that you eat, your lifestyle, your exercise habits, and your personal environment too. So stress doesn't just come from how we're feeling in our minds. It also comes from our environment and what we're putting on and in our body as well. Now, another thing to bear in mind is that if you're struggling with energy throughout the day, this can also be related to cortisol. You see, we have a particular pattern that cortisol should be produced, and I'll add an image to the comments afterwards in this post so you can see what it should be. I can't on Instagram, but I will in the group on Facebook. For many women, that pattern is skewed, and where cortisol should be high, it's low, and where cortisol should be low, it's high. So in addition to all of these things I've already mentioned, this can lead to extreme tiredness. Oh, something's just opened on my laptop. Just bear with me while I close it. Don't want my emails. So where was I? So this can lead to extreme tiredness and low energy as well. Okay, so now you understand what the problem is with stress and cortisol and how it affects not just your waistline, but your overall health as well. You're probably wondering, okay, well, what can you do about it? Because if you don't deal with the stress, losing weight is going to be very, very, very difficult and most likely not sustainable at all. There's a number of things that need to be addressed in order to bring cortisol levels to the Goldilocks, just right levels, to give us just enough, but not too much. So some of these things are eating the right types and amounts of food to bring blood sugar glucose or blood glucose levels to the right levels, and this comes from understanding what foods do to your body, what each food does to your body. We also need to remove from the environment the things that put stress on our body, such as hidden chemicals. We need to deal with the emotional side of stress, of course, and the mental side of stress. That goes without saying. We also need to regulate what we call the circadian rhythm, also known as our sleep-wake cycle, and that needs to be regulated as well. And we need to incorporate self-care practices that work to limit stress and our cortisol. We also need to make sure that our liver is functioning properly and getting rid of chemicals and toxins too. And we need to practice the right type and amount of exercise as well. So that's really important. This is exactly why I created the Revitalise method, because when we hit our 40s, it's no longer a case of just cutting calories and exercising loads to lose body fat. There are so many more pieces to the puzzle. If you're in that period of life, you're going to know this because things are changing. And that's why so many of you are in my group, because you don't understand what's changing. There are so many more pieces to the puzzle, and they become more pronounced as we get older, and we just aren't taught what is going on or how to fix it. It's a step-by-step program to basically reset and revitalise your body and your mind. If belly fat, low energy, low mood, or other symptoms are causing you sleepless nights, and you'd like to chat through the options, just drop a yes please into the comments, and I will get back to you. I'll get back to you soon, and we can have a chat. Okay, that's it. If you have any questions, just pop them into the comments, and I will answer them afterwards. I'm just having a look now. There's nothing at the moment, but if you've got any questions, pop them in the comments and I will answer them. And in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day. The sun is out here anyway. Apparently the sun is returning to us this week, so hooray for that. And take care, and I will be back soon. Bye for now.